Oh my gosh, we are rolling. This is it. I love that we have these here and they're empty. Next time I'll bring some iced coffee for us. Starbucks, please sponsor us because we love you.
That'd be fantastic.
Welcome to a wedding podcast with Katie and Stefan. We are back.
We're back.
Back in action. I gotta stop putting my hands on the table. You're gonna murder me.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, just don't drum. You're okay.
What if I did? You'd be so mad. We are back for season 2. I can't believe it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing because, again, we started this as just kind of a fun thing, and it's still fun. I mean, obviously it's still fun, but
oh yeah,
it's turning into something legit.
I have been so excited all day today.
Yeah,
kind of
a
antsy.
kid in a candy store situation.
Yeah, it came to me. It's kind of like when you were a kid and summer break or Christmas break was coming to an end.
Like the last day of school.
And it's like, yeah, but
I can't wait.
Yeah,
because for those of you that are listening and not watching, we are in a new location.
We are.
So we used to be kind of a little bit ghetto. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. I don't mean that bad. We kind of used to just be not legit. How do you say that? Illegitimate.
But there was so much. I feel like our audio was good.
Our audio is good.
Yeah.
Our video wasn't great because we just couldn't figure it. You're a video guy, but we just didn't know. You start something and you just don't know if it's going to be anything. So it's we didn't want to put too much money in because it's this could be a 3-week thing and then we're over it.
Yep.
But then I don't know.
I was watching episode 5.
Oh, you were?
And when we recorded that, we were we've made it 5 episodes.
We're so excited. And now we're on season 2. We're legit.
Crazy.
It's just exciting because, again, this is just something we both love weddings, every aspect of weddings.
Yep.
Stefan's a photographer for those that are brand new here. And I am a wedding planner for, again, those that are brand new here. But we both just love weddings. We work together, but I love every sense of weddings.
Yeah, me too.
Everything. And so that's why we kind of got together, and really it was Stefan's idea. I'm just going to give you all the credit for everything today. He was just do you like podcasts? And I was I love podcasts. And he was we should start one. And I was cool, let's do it. And so we started recording in the conference room of my office, which is just needs remodeled really bad. So it's just, it's got old green, blinds and stuff in it. But you know what? It worked for a while because it was a central location.
For sure.
We could tell people where it was. It was always quiet because I'm usually the only person there. So, it was just, it worked for the first season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about the only thing that we downgraded was that our location isn't so central to the Effingham area anymore.
To where we live. Well, we work, I guess you could say.
Because it's where I live.
But we are actually in Stefan's house. So his children are upstairs and his beautiful wife. So we've upgraded. So this is actually Stefan's, I'd say, office. Is this what you call that? We are in Stefan's office. So, kind of for those, again, that are just listening, white walls. And then we have a brand new podcast table, which is an old wooden spool, which is so neat. Stefan found this at a local shop that actually was closing its doors called Fresh Digs.
Yeah.
And saw it and thought it would be perfect.
Yeah,
for a podcast table. Because
I was looking for something. I guess this part of the podcast is really going to appeal more to the video side.
Yeah, but we have to explain it,
But as I was looking, I knew I didn't want rectangular or square because we tried that our first episode with Tanya.
Yeah.
And it was just really weird being 180 degrees. And where do you look? Round just seemed better, but I needed a big round table.
Yeah. Because usually it is Stefan and I a majority of the time, but we always have guests, and usually we've not had more than 2 at a time. We've done couples and things like that, but it's just so nice. And honestly, I'm going to be Stefan and I met at Starbucks a couple weeks ago. Starbucks, we love you. We talk about Starbucks a lot. Sorry. we were like, what are some podcasts that we love? And one that I'm kind of obsessed with is Good Mythical Morning. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, seen it, whatever. And they, so we were like, okay, this is kind of how they do it. And then like there's another podcast that I love called The Morning Toast, and they just sit in chairs. They don't have a table. So we were just really trying to think of ways to make it to make it more legit. And so Stefan found this table and painted it, and here we are.
Yeah. And it was so funny. Whenever I was looking for tables, I was like, I don't know if I want to do the round one because I feel like that will be copying it's called Ear Biscuits, Good Mythical Morning, Rhett and Link's podcast. And I did not want it to appear that way, which we have the white. It's very bright, and where they have more of a darker look. But at the same time, if you have a round table, like...
the round table of wedding discussion.
Multiple people are going to have round tables. So.
Absolutely. And then Stefan also found the chairs that we are using now. So they are from the same shop that closed its doors. And they're like a gold metal style chair. But Stefan really like reworked it because you like reupholstered them.
Well, yeah, Natasha did the...
Natasha, his wife.
She did the sewing. I stapled the... everything.
Somebody's got to sew, somebody's got to staple. That's why they're a good couple.
I also went to polish the gold.
Oh yeah.
And as I was polishing, I was like, the gold's coming off.
Oh no.
And I read the polish closer, and it said don't use on gold plated things.
Oh no.
So one of them, the arms is just
That's all right. People won't know. People won't know.
You can't even see the chairs.
But that's anyway, what created our studio. We have the same microphone. Stefan has a new, I ask every time what it's called because I'm just terrible at this, but soundboard.
Yeah, we actually have a soundboard.
We never had one before. So this is legit. So, maybe we'll put in some like fun sound bites or not. But I just think it's going to help in the long run for us to have that.
Yeah.
And we are working on, I wouldn't call it merch. I feel like that's an extreme word for what we're doing. But our friend Tip Tanya, who you guys know from season 1, helped us out with some legit cups. So if you're watching the video version of this, you can see them. We love black. I don't know if you can not figure that out, which is kind of a weird wedding color. But if you think about it, all vendors wear black when it comes to weddings. Like usually photographers are all in black. Yep. I usually always try to wear black when I'm planning. If you go to a bridal shop, they're usually all in black. So I think it's, though brides wear white, we wear black here at a wedding podcast. But we have some tumblers and stuff like that. So we're looking, just to expand and do some more fun things.
Yeah. I'm so excited just for this season.
Yeah.
There is a lot that we have planned. But I think at the same time, and I guess part of the reason I wanted a round table was so that we could have one camera. And so part of the thing with this season was just to kind of upgrade everything, but keep it simple. And so the white backdrop, I mean, all that's going to tie in with all the content that we do. Just keeping it simple, but fun.
Fun fact, Stefan's going to be mad at me for saying this. Stefan has a photography company and he does kind of all kinds of things. But his theme for the year was KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And that's kind of where we're coming from this year as well for the podcast. Is keeping it, upgrading some stuff, obviously, and getting some nicer things, but just keeping it nice and simple. Because really, it's, yes, we want it to look cool, but it's really about the content that we bring. And so we're really trying to focus on good quality sound, good quality video, and good quality guests going into 2020. I just made that up off the top of my head and it sounded so legit. Oh, shoots. That's going to be on the podcast, isn't it? I'm kidding.
That's why we do this.
Yeah, that's right.
We're decent with just
making stuff up.
Which is all about being a wedding vendor.
All about being a wedding vendor. You just got to make that bride feel like, even though, walls might be burning down around you, you got to make her feel like nothing's happening. It's all great.
Your mind is relaxing on the beach.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. But things are falling apart. So the first episode, I guess we just wanted to give kind of a brief rundown of who each of us are. Just for those that are just now tuning in, because we've got a lot of new followers and new listens. So my name's Katie Custer. I am I am an event planner. I do more than just weddings. But I've been in the industry like gosh, I have to answer this every time and I always forget. Like almost 10 years now. So that's exciting, but I've worked in places, you know, I've worked in a casino, I've worked in a convention center. I now work for a farm and table restaurant called Firefly Grill. So that's just been exciting, but that's just kind of what I bring to the table is more of the planning and things like that. Yeah. I'll hand it over to Stefan now.
Well,
I wasn't prepared, honestly, so I should have prepared like a little bit more of like, I'm so cool, but that's really it.
You didn't look at the teleprompter.
Yeah. My name is...
Well, I am Stefan Harris, and I am a photographer, primarily weddings, but I do it all. Families to food. So.
Yeah, Stefan does all of the photography for the restaurant that I work for. And actually, it's so funny because he just did dessert pictures for us, and they are coming out today on our social platform. So I'm really excited for that. But
Yeah. So I've been doing that since 2009. So going on my 11th year.
Oh, yeah.
Of professionally shooting weddings. So that's just wild to think about. Just 11 years. I mean, it's been just about my entire adult life, or I guess post-college.
Yeah, post-college life.
Yeah. But, so it's been a trip.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes us unique is Stefan and I do work together, you know, in terms of weddings together and food pictures and stuff like that. But we're both very involved and know a lot of the vendors in our area specifically. The one thing about living in Central Illinois is nobody's really each other's competition.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, yes, there are, you know, several photographers. There's several reception venues, and there's a lot of planners and, you know, florists and things like that. But honestly, we're all kind of like a family. And so that's why we started this, because our friends need to share the talents that they bring to the, you know, like there's some, what just happened? Oh no. I'm going to keep talking. So there's some, like Stefan is a photographer, but we have photographer friends that, you know, will come join us on the podcast. It says recording stopped. Try recording again. So, you know, just because they're photographers doesn't mean that we don't want them to come on the show. Same thing with other planners. You know, they bring different things to the table than what I can. So it's always good to just get all of their perspectives. So really, we're kind of friends with everybody. So that's kind of our unique advantage that we bring to the table. Other things that we are going to do this season on the podcast are some wedding movie reviews. Stefan and I both love wedding movies. So anything from, you know, My Best Friend's Wedding to Mystic Pizza to, trying to think, Runaway Bride, all those fun wedding films. We are going to kind of do it book club style. So we'll let you know when we're going to watch them. We'll review them, and that way you guys can have a little review time with us to see if it's things that you like as well. And then we do have a few unique guests that we have lined up. So, you know, of course, we're bringing back some old favorites like Tip Tanya, but we also have some new guests that are coming to join in because we have some new technology that'll allow them to call in. Ooh, I just had to talk a really long time because Stefan was fixing stuff. So everybody's probably like, gosh, does she ever stop talking?
Hopefully the new technology works a little better.
Yeah, we're still learning.
What happened.
We're still learning. So anyway, just another quick recap. I don't know what our time frame is here, but we know that it's 'tis the season. It is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. But it's 'tis the season for everyone to get engaged.
It is.
And one of our most popular episodes, honestly, is holy crap, I just got engaged. What do I do? Because no one knows.
Nope.
Everyone gets so stressed. It's like the ring is so exciting and it's like, oh my gosh, I got an engagement ring. Like, look at my ring. And then people are immediately like, when are you getting married? How many people are you going to invite? Have you thought about bridesmaid dresses yet? Do you still like her? Is she going to be your maid of honor? I mean, it's just like, whew, calm it down.
It's a stressful time. And I think as soon as the dust settles from the excitement of the ring, the proposal, it's kind of like, I almost imagine, I mean, because I didn't go through this stage of it myself.
Yeah.
I can
it's
only
different from a guy's perspective.
I can only imagine it's kind of like it's exactly, holy crap, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, people just get so overwhelmed, and girls, you know, automatically like start picking colors. that's really not the first step. I know that that's like an exciting step and a fun thing, you know, to figure out what color are my bridesmaids going to wear. And, oh, I'm definitely doing gold, or I want so many flowers. But really, like, you can't let those things cloud what you really need to be doing. And that's, you know, securing a date. And it's not just like picking one out of random.
For sure.
Like, I think we're going to get married on Valentine's Day in 2023. You can't really do that.
No, I mean, you can try.
You can try. If it's far out, I mean, that's something that you can do. But I know it, and I know this is everywhere. This is really bad in in Central Illinois, but I know it's bad in other places. You really have to pick your date based on where you want to get married, really. Yeah. So, you know, for instance, you have maybe a particular convention center that you're like, I have to have my reception there. Yep. You better call them and figure out what dates they have available and start working from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think last year when we had Brienne on with Blushed, she brought up that the first thing you should do is determine how many people you're going to have.
Yes.
And I thought that was a great tip because that greatly determines what venue you're going to use.
Absolutely.
Because if you only have 100 people, you don't need a 600-person convention center.
Right. Right. Yeah. You just need a little bit smaller space, or, you know, figuring out your vibe is kind of an okay thing, but you just like cannot let that cloud. You know, or even if there's a particular church that you want to be married at, you know, a lot of churches are very busy with, you know, special Sunday services, or, you know, fundraising dinners, or, you know, there's lots of, they call them linger longers. Have you ever heard of a linger longer? No. That's like a very Southern thing. They're like in a social hour, but for the church, they call them linger longers. But that can prevent sometimes them allowing to have a wedding, you know, and a lot of times they can only do one wedding. So that should be your first step. Yeah, for sure. Because then you might get a little sad when that doesn't work out that well for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even same thing with picking out your vendors first.
Yep.
I mean, I've had a few people do it where they kind of base their wedding date around my availability, which is awesome. But at the same, and in those cases, they had a few days.
Sure.
And they'd already talked to the reception venue to make sure, are these days available? They brought them to me.
Sure.
But yeah, I think if you have a handful of vendors that you'd like to work with, I wouldn't get too attached right away.
No.
Get the venue that you want, and then
the vendors. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My next step is definitely with the vendors. And really, it's more of the vendors that cannot have more than one wedding. Yeah. You know, photographers are normally, you know, sometimes there are large companies that provide that. Most of the time it's one person, you know, and their maybe assistant or whatever, you know, same thing with videographers, same thing with, I'm drawing a blank now. Darn it. But like florists can do multiple weddings in a weekend. Cake bakers usually can do multiple weddings in a weekend.
Hair and makeup is
a hard one. Yeah. Especially if you have something, you know, if you have a particular hairdresser that you're interested in, you know, or a particular makeup artist, that's something to look into. Yep. We had Maya Stemke on last season, representing a hotel for us. And she said another one would be to booking, you know, your hotel rooms.
Oh yeah. That's
or at least just putting a block aside. So that way, you know that they're there.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do anything with them at that point, but it's like, I have the 10 hotel rooms. I know people are going to have somewhere to stay.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm trying to think of other things. Those are like the biggest.
Yeah. And that keeps you plenty busy for a while.
It really does. But I always say, like, I have I'm planning 2 cousins' weddings right now, and they both got engaged about the same time. But basically what they, you know, it was like, book these things, book your band and DJ can sometimes be one. Book those things. You get a little bit of a break. And during that little break, you can be Pinteresting and buying the bridal magazines and doing all the fun things. Yeah. And then, you know, a couple months later, you got to really dive in again. But like those first couple weeks out of engagement, especially if you're wanting to get married within the year, you got to get booking.
Yeah. Gotta move.
I also encourage people to look into local bridal shows.
Oh, for sure.
We're huge fans of the bridal show. There's really only one in particular in our area. But I know like in big regions like St. Louis and Chicago and things like that, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
Go to one. I'm not saying you have to go to 15 because I think you'll be clouded with too much information. But going to one is super awesome because maybe you don't know who Stephen Harris Photography is, but you can at least see some of his work. You can take his brochure and go home and look up his blog or look up his Facebook, you know, those kind of things. They also a lot of times offer a discount or a giveaway, not necessarily a discount, but maybe they're giving away a free engagement session, or maybe it's just a $50 Visa gift card, but you know, those kind of things I think are good. And then you can see kind of the options or the trends or the vendors that are even out there.
Yeah, for sure. And you can usually try some food, at least the one.
Yeah, the one here, that is like the fun part. The cake samples. Oh my gosh, this year at the bridal show, there's a new vendor and she gave out cake pops and cheesecakes. Did you get any of those?
Cheesecakes I did.
Yeah, the cake pop was legit. And I mean, wow, that was the best part.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like you get a really big coffee before you go in there. Again, we're Starbucks fans. But like, you know, you go and you get like, if you can't get the Trenta, you get the venti coffee. And that's like all you have for hours. So when people bring by the cake samples, you're like, I'll take 500 of them.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing just how hungry I get.
Yes.
And I'm usually so busy in the morning that I don't even think about eating, like maybe a snack. But then about noon, I'm like, why didn't I eat anything?
Why didn't I eat something? I will warn you, bridal shows can be very overwhelming. There's usually a lot of people. There's a lot of vendors. But just plan to spend the day there and take your time. You know, maybe go first to all the photographer booths and then take a little bit of break. Maybe, you know, have a cocktail, have a food sample, you know, just maybe sit down and think about it a little bit. And then maybe you go see all the cake bakers. Then maybe you go see all the, you know, but just really organizing yourself and not overwhelming yourself is super important. Taking breaks is encouraged.
Yeah. And I almost wonder, maybe we should do how to survive a
bridal show. We should. That should be a podcast. We'd be good at that.
I've gone into shows before, not just wedding related, but other kind of vendor related shows, and just thinking about it, I mean, I go in and kind of do the loop, get everything I can and walk out, but rather it should almost be like we're going to take this slow. This is going to be a slow process. Talk with everyone that we want to talk to. You don't have to talk with everybody.
Right.
Don't do that.
No.
Like, if you don't need a photographer,
don't talk to one.
Unless you're friends with them.
Yeah.
But or unless they are your photographer. But,
sure. Oh, you know, we'll save this. This is going to be a good episode idea. So I'm happy. But you know, my biggest thing about wedding shows is, and I know I used to do this when I first started working them, when you go up, like you're a bride and you're going up to see the bus company for the party bus. And they go, do you have your party bus yet for your wedding? That is my worst nightmare. Like, that is the worst marketing ever.
The
like,
ultra
please
cheesiness
stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we encourage bridal shows for sure. They're super, super helpful for the brides.
Yeah.
What are your other tips, Stefan, for holy crap, I'm getting engaged?
I mean, planning a wedding, I feel like is like starting and running a business. And so I feel like before, like, get your venue booked. And then once your venue is booked, if there's like one or two vendors that you absolutely want to make sure you get them.
Book them.
But I would almost say take some time to sit down and kind of business plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Like from the colors or the vibe, because a lot of those can even determine the type of vendors you work with. Like with your photographer, I mean, if you're kind of
I just feel like you're a good example. If they don't like theatrical pictures, like outdoorsy kind of non-traditional stuff, they probably shouldn't book you.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that stuff, but like that's not what you're known for.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Sort of. I'm even my colors. You know, the way I edit my pictures. You know, if you determine your theme, your vibe of the wedding, that would determine the look of the pictures that
Yeah.
you want. Because if you are kind of, I guess my style being more of a more real, slightly darker look,
Yeah.
more intimate look, but you want like bright and airy.
Bright and airy.
Or like if you want
I call those Instagram pictures.
Yeah, if you want the dark, intimate look, somebody who does a bright and airy style of pictures is not going to fit your vibe.
True.
So
yeah.
you know
so
when
looking
you
at those
see
things.
bright and airy, you can cross those out.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad people, it's just it doesn't fit your vibe.
Yeah. Stalk them. Stalk your
Yeah.
vendors. I mean, they have,
absolutely.
you know, if it's a good vendor, they will have a Facebook page, a website of some sort, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be super legit, but
Yeah.
if they will have, you know, samples of their work.
Yeah,
out
and
there.
you want to see more than just one wedding.
Right.
I mean, it would be extremely easy for me to take one or two pictures and make them look out of this world.
Yeah.
And some photographers do that.
Yeah.
I mean, other vendors, I bet, do that. I
Sure.
could see florists doing that. Like
Yeah.
they spend hours on one
One
bouquet
bouquet.
just to make it look amazing for pictures, but
Yeah.
then their actual work does not match that.
Right.
So I think, you know, looking through a lot of their work, and then talking with them, because you'll pick up kind of how they are based on how they talk to you.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to jive with your vendors, especially your photographer. You got to make sure,
Yeah.
because they're going to kind of be your best friend that day.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are capturing your moment. So you got to make sure that you have a good, you know,
Yep.
kind of play with them.
I usually tell them, you know, from the time of booking to shooting the wedding, and then my weddings, most of them get albums. So by the time they get their album, we've worked together a year to 2 years. And so I usually joke with them, but it's kind of serious. I mean, if you don't like me now, you're not going to like me 2 years from now.
Ever. Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that, you know, you like your photographer and
Yeah.
other vendors, because you're going to be working a lot with them.
For sure.
And nothing's worse than having that vendor that's just like grumpy or never gets back to you or just kind of
Yeah.
doesn't fit your
Right.
personality.
Your personality. My other tip would be, and we love The Knot and we love Wedding Wire, which they are now one company. So we do love them, but they make a really great wedding planner. It is a print. I think they maybe have an online one too. I'll have to double check that and we can share it on our Facebook page or our Instagram. But it's a printed binder and it's going to have all kinds of things for you to think about. Now, again, there's going to be things in there that you don't necessarily need, or, you know, they have everything. So anything from a small town wedding to a destination wedding in there, but it's a good start.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest caution with those, I would just be careful with the timelines that they give you in some of those, you know, magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to book your caterer 365 days in advance. I mean, plenty of time, but sometimes those are a little extreme. So don't let those overwhelm you. But there are some really, really good wedding planners out there that will be super helpful. They'll allow you to keep track of budget and, you know, all the little things that you maybe don't think of that you're like, oh shoot, I got to buy programs. I need to buy presents for the ring bearer. I need, you know, and it'll let you just kind of stay on track. And I think those are super, super helpful.
I think kind of in line with that, also, if you are kind of later, like maybe you got engaged and you're planning your wedding 6 months from now,
Yeah.
don't assume that the vendors you think you want aren't available.
Yeah.
Because for me in particular, I've had brides tell me, I would have reached out to you, but I figured you were booked.
Yeah.
I don't take that many weddings every year. And so there are some days that I am available.
Yeah.
Even I have availability next month.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can work. And so I think a lot of times we think, well, all the planners say to book photographer 18 months in advance.
Right.
I mean, it's suggested.
Sure.
Doesn't necessarily mean
that you have to. Yeah. We're kind of the same way. Like where I work, it's a restaurant. So, we really encourage the smaller weddings. So it's, we do a lot of the military weddings, which thank you for your service, people out there that are listening.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are very, very last minute. I'm getting sent off, or I'm getting moved to a different base, so we do a lot of those. And again, people reach out to us and they'd be like, we just figured that to have a wedding here, you had to have 100 people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we did a wedding 2 weeks ago and it was 6 people.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's
the
awesome.
bride and groom and both sets of parents. That's all they
Nice.
wanted. They had gotten married at their small church, and the 6 of them came and had lunch, and
That's cool.
it was perfect. So things definitely to keep in mind.
Yeah. I like that.
Well, I think that sums up a good first episode for us. Again, it's just great to be back for season 2 and just kind of reintroduce ourselves. I keep looking down because I'm not used to being filmed.
It's like trying to make eye contact.
I know,
with
right?
someone, like,
Oh, hey. But we're glad to be back. And again, we just have lots of good content coming up. So if you're planning a wedding, love weddings, or just maybe, I don't know, just need something to listen to while you're working, we're here and back.
Well, yeah, and we will hit topics that aren't just like wedding day specific.
Yeah.
And you kind of highlighted some of the things we'll be doing, but
Yeah.
I mean, we will be doing movie reviews and
Fun things like
even
that.
older movies. So,
Yeah. And in season 1 too, we had some, like Amanda and Lindsay were here from Be Wise Nutrition, and they talked about like healthy eating. And, that is definitely something that brides really care about when they're going to fit in that dress, but it's kind of something for everyone. The same thing we had Julie Everett on with Smith Moore last season, and she talked about kind of, all things finance. So, how to make good decisions and take out loans and just all kinds of that adult style stuff. So it's not just wedding veils and wedding cakes. So awesome. Well, thank you guys for turning in again for our first episode of season 2. We have so much more coming, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.